It's the Mod Pod. All right, welcome back to the Mod Coffee Podcast. I'm your host, Ahmad Kofi. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Zechariah. How you doing, man?
Hey,
All right, so yeah, we were just talking a little bit and stuff like that, especially because we're still in school as juniors, and we were talking about how um there is there are a lot of people that kind of just want to fit in. However, it's best to be just yourself, being unapologetically yourself. Um,
yeah,
do you have anything to say about that? Like, what are your views on that specifically?
I'd say specifically like myself, it's been a lot, um, kind of finding myself a little bit more,
Right.
obviously. Like me personally, at least, the last couple of years have been really long just because uh, so much has changed about like me, my life, other things like that. So it's not really, um, I don't know what I would have, like what position I'd be in right now if I was
Mm,
not just trying to be myself because I've tried to fit in and it just doesn't, at least for me, it doesn't really work. It just doesn't feel right.
exactly.
It
Like,
just doesn't.
I feel like when you try to fit in with a certain group, because chances are also when you're trying to fit in, you're probably picking the wrong group to try to fit into. They probably don't
Yeah.
like, relate to you in any way. But I also feel that as well. Like when I try to fit in with other people, um, especially because I'm religious, like I'm Muslim, so like when I try to fit in with most people, it doesn't really work. Like because a lot of people like they like to listen to music. Um, they might say a lot of things that I just don't say, or they do a lot of things that I don't do, stuff like that. And for me, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel morally right as well because of the religion that I'm a part of. So just that fitting in doesn't really like help me at all. It's not gonna help me in any way, shape, or form. I can see that for the future as well. And overall, it's just not like good for my mental. I feel like you know what I'm saying. Like I'm just sitting here. I'm gonna be thinking about that like in the future.
Hmm.
Like what if I didn't try to fit in at that time? What if I kind of just stayed on my own path or kind of just strayed away from these kind of people or these kinds of people?
Yeah, I definitely have experienced some of that before with like wondering what to do, whether I really belong in this group or that group. And then through that, I kind of figured out that I don't really, in a lot of ways, I don't belong to most people's groups that they have anyway. So I might as well try to just be myself as much as I can. And then if I happen to fit into a group, then there we go. I happen to be there. But
Yeah, like
that's just
it's
how it
not
happens. So I'm like, I want to specifically fit in with these people just to
exactly
make
like
things work.
it's not like I'm trying to say like don't be part of a friend group. Like you can have friends, right? But
Oh, yeah, yeah, of
choose
course.
yeah, but like choose who you're with wisely. Don't go and be friends with people that kind of just do something that you want to do or do something that you think you want to do when you really just don't fit in to that group. Like your chemistry just isn't there. You don't want to do that because that's just gonna ruin you. It's not gonna help you in any way. So,
Hmm.
but it's kind of what I think about that.
Yeah, it just really, it takes a toll on you eventually. And what'll end up happening is realistically, if you try to fit into all the groups in high school, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble. Maybe not just a little bit, maybe more than that. After high school, or let's say you go to college too, and things are working out. You're in groups and everything there. There's a lot of groups in college, that's for sure.
Right.
Um, but what are you gonna necessarily do after that? Like a lot of people, you end up losing the people you thought you were close friends with just because it's not you're not really around them anymore. You're all
Mhm.
going your different ways in life, and because no one was really like really properly knew you all the way and knew exactly like who you were, and that's why they're there. It's not just not the same. You might end up never even seeing those people again after college.
Exactly. Like I feel like though when you get into those kind of groups, those kinds of groups in high school and in college that you just join because like say for example the popular one is the popular kids or the popular group that a lot of people like to join into. And the problem with that is when you're one of those kids that just joins them just because they're popular, they have a certain reputation in school, that you'll be fine for a little bit, but it's gonna take a toll on you because they might start making fun of you, they might start talking behind your back, they might do all these things, and then after high school or college, they're never gonna talk to you
Hmm.
again. So then what are you going to do with your life at that point? You're not going to have any friends. You're not going to know what to do and how you are. Like that's why kind of like right now, especially with our youth, like it's best to find out who you are and
Hmm.
what you are and then what you can do and what you cannot do, stuff like that, your capabilities, your
Yeah.
potential, all of that kind of stuff right now. It's best to do that now rather than just try to fit in with the group that you don't really belong to and then struggle on later in life trying to figure out who you are or who you want to be and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with like midlife crisis and stuff. Like you never really found out who you were and why you were that way, and then you end up having to redo everything because you haven't really been you, or you've been doing stuff that wasn't really the authentic way of you doing stuff. It ends
Exactly.
up being not like, yeah, it's just not right. And then by the time that you are getting to like the middle of your life, you're having a struggle. I just don't see that happening, at least to me, just because I know a lot better who I am just from a couple of years ago. So I'm sure by the time,
Exactly.
let's say like 5 years in the future, when I'm off uh, completely out of school for a couple of years and having a job and everything like that, it's going to be different, but I'll at least be me.
Exactly. And the reason you can do that is because you didn't try to fit in with all the popular kids and all these
Yeah.
groups and stuff like that. You just decide to be you and do whatever you can. Now, to add to that though, I feel as though that being unapologetically yourself will boost your confidence, especially as you get older and you realize who you are and what you can do. Because when you're with those groups and you try to fit in with others and you're trying to, I guess, you're trying to put on this act or this persona to the world while you're with this group, your confidence becomes linked to that group. So whatever that group that you're a part of says to you, that can make or break your day, and that can make or break your confidence and determine
Mhm.
how high or low you are on yourself.
Yeah, I've definitely personally experienced that. Just not even in like a negative way necessarily. It's just I had become very attached to the people who were in the youth group that I was in, but they
Mm,
were like juniors and seniors when I was a sophomore. So then when they moved on, I was like, well, what am I gonna do? Like, I was really good friends with those people, and they're all like off in college now. Like, and I had a really like big struggle in my mind trying to figure that out because I wasn't even sure I wanted to be in the group anymore. And then I decided to just stick it out, and it actually ended up being even more fun because I understood and got to know the people who were still in the group even better.
right. Because I feel like once you're able to have that self-confidence to do whatever you want to do and just be yourself and not having to rely on others for confidence, all that kind of stuff, you're just able to do so much more with your life, and it just goes on so much easier. It's a lot more smooth sailing than as if you were to be linked to someone or somebody or like some kind of group, and then you have to, I guess, wait for them to give you permission on how to act throughout your day, whether they want you to act like, I guess, in a gloomy manner or be really confident in yourself and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it also ties into uh, like what you wear and how you act throughout the day as
Mhm.
well. Like being yourself is more than just kind of going through the school day, I think,
Right.
because a lot of going through the school day is talking to people you might not necessarily want to talk with, and maybe wearing things that you don't necessarily wear on the weekends because you don't want to look, I don't know, like something people wouldn't like, I guess.
Yeah.
I I've gotten plenty of people who gave me uh like odd looks and asked questions about the shoes that I'm wearing right now. They're like, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're different from most people's shoes because I have bunions and it hurts my feet to wear most normal shoes. And it was a decision to specifically pick these, knowing that I'd probably get some weird looks for them uh, and like questions about it. But then it actually ended up being kind of positive because uh, people are like, "Oh, I've seen those before," or like whatever. It's different than what I thought it was going to be like, but they've also helped me personally. So
I mean,
doing
yeah, like,
that has been beneficial to me. And
right. Like to each his own. Like every person was made individually and in a different way. Like no two people are the exact same. Even siblings,
mhm,
even twins aren't the exact same. Like you're meant to do what you can do and whatever you want to do.
mhm,
Like it just depends on that person. But when you're trying to do what everybody else is doing, going with the flow, it makes the world boring. That's why God created
mhm,
everybody in a different way so you can so the world isn't boring. It's not all bleak and bland.
mhm.
It's all like fun and all that kind of stuff. Like you can see different things, you get to learn and go through different experiences and all that.
Yeah, different ways and different struggles too. Like, um, I'm lucky to have uh, parents who love and care for me and all my siblings and are still together. But I know a lot of people don't have that same like safety net around them.
Right.
Uh, but I've also not, I'd say, not that I haven't had struggles, but I've noticed I've had different struggles than what other people seem to have
Mhm.
as well. Like, there's different like give and takes, even just in how you start in life. Like, no one thing means everything.
Exactly. Like I mean, everybody's starting point is different. Everybody's end point is different. Everybody's path to that from point A to point B is different. And overall, that's kind of what I believe. Whether
Hmm.
it's struggling or having success or having those little bumps in the road or potholes in the road where you have to climb back out of just to get back to where you want to be and then continue on that path. I mean, yeah, so this kind of also goes with the next topic or the second topic that we have, which is like constantly being tested. Because when you're trying to do something, such as like being yourself and not caring what others think and stuff like that, and not being part of these groups, you're gonna be tested. There's gonna be trial and error. You're gonna be tested with all these kind of things. Like, well,
Hmm.
now the big test that happens with this kind of situation is the confidence and the mindset and the mental. Like, do I am I gonna care what these people think of me if I do this or if I do this or if I
Hmm.
do this? Like, for example, like you say you're wearing certain shoes for your bunions. Like now that test will be for you that for you that test would be, oh, are people gonna like make fun of me if I wear these shoes? Like, oh, people are
Yeah.
looking at me now. I gotta think about this, and that. Like, that's kind of how like
Hmm.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought going into it. But what I've found is that a lot of the tests that at least I've had to go through end up like the result of me picking the right option
Mm,
and struggling through it is actually more benefit than I thought I was going to gain, or maybe sometimes even benefits that I didn't think I was going to gain at all. Like like I said with the shoes, like I thought people were either going to say nothing about them, or maybe they would make some comments about how they're different or whatever. But it pretty much ended up all being positive for the most part.
mm,
But it hasn't really been that bad. And then with other things, like just trying to do whatever you can, people take notice of that too. Like even if it's really hard for you to do something, and maybe you're not as good as it at it as everybody else. Um, I view that at least as a test of having to get through the situation. Like
mm.
I don't know if you've seen, but I'm really, really bad at swimming. Like really bad.
Yeah,
Um, and definitely does not make me feel the most confident. But in doing it and like just deciding that I'm gonna try as hard as I can, not try to skip out on anything. Um, I've actually gotten a lot better at it, and also that's boosted my confidence of just knowing knowing that I'm clearly the worst at something, and then still going through with trying to do whatever I can has actually been really beneficial for me.
and I commend you for that because you actually go out there, and it's not like you're just gonna like not do it just because you think you can't. It's just that you're going out there and trying to improve and trying to do your best. And I know a lot of people who
Mhm.
just wouldn't do that, who aren't doing that right now currently, um, and they just kind of like stay complacent and they stay content with whatever
Yeah.
situation they're in, and they just stay put, and they don't ever, I guess, get better at whatever they're trying to do. They don't work hard at it. And then I feel like when you kind of skip out on certain things and you don't work at certain things, it kind of falls into other places in your life where it's like, say for
Oh
example,
yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
but now like say for example, say you didn't try hard and you didn't try to like you didn't try to get better or improve at swimming, right? I feel like that could have also went to other aspects of your life, like say for example, school. Like you might not be able or you might not be as inclined to try as hard in school, and then your grades might
Hmm.
start tanking and stuff like that. But since you did try to improve and you're actually trying your best to improve in that certain specific area, now everything else will take a jump or take a boost, and you'll feel more motivated, or even not even motivated. That discipline will just transfer so that
Yeah.
you'll be able to stay consistent.
Yeah. I've actually like just in that specific scenario, I felt that sort of feeling of, all right, I did it. It was really tough, and but it's okay now. Like I've finished it for the day, and I can move on. And it was really hard, but now I can move on, and I made it through. So pretty much, that's one of the lows of my day already. If like other stuff happens. But for the most part, it's just gonna get better.
Right, right.
I've experienced my fair share of tests, I would say.
Mm.
Um, at least
Oh,
like I came in freshman year right after getting a surgery on my knee, and I've told people about this before, but like um, the implications of that was uh, not being able to do sports for 2 years. I just this winter went in to do winter track over at Washington Township, and that was great. It was a good experience. I'm gonna be with them for spring track as well, but I've wanted to do sports every year in high school up until now, and I just haven't been able to because my surgery was so detrimental to my knee and all the muscles and ligaments in it.
right.
Because they had to remove part of the bone in it, so that really just that messed it all up.
I feel like
Um,
with that kind of test, it's a lot different than something that I would have or the next person would have. And um, I kind of think about it like this, like comparison is a thief of joy, kind of, but there's also a reverse of that where comparison can make you feel better about yourself and about your situation. Because say for example, so for you, you had that knee surgery, right? And that was detrimental to you because then you couldn't play sports. Whereas somebody else might, I don't know, roll their ankle and then they're out for, I don't know, a week and a half, right? They're thinking about it and now they're comparing themselves to others, like the people that are healthy, right? Comparison is a thief of joy in the fact that they're watching other people that are able to play their sports that are fully healthy, right? And they're not getting any joy from that. So, but now, say for example, we'll look at you who cannot play sports for a couple of years, right, rather than a couple of
mhm.
weeks, then they're not gonna feel as I guess as bad thinking that because now they know that they have way less time, um, or way less recovery time to go back to whatever sport that is. Whereas for you, you would have to wait so much longer, which is why I kind of say
Yeah.
it's like a reverse of that. The comparison is a thief of joy.
Hmm.
I used to take that quote so lightly until I got older, and then I used to really like see it. Like sometimes I'm just sitting here thinking like, dang, if I'm really comparing myself to so and so for no reason, and now I'm getting like
Hmm.
annoyed, or I'm getting down on myself or stuff like that. I'm losing confidence, this, and that.
Yeah. I actually really like the way you said that with it's the thief of joy, but what else? There was something else you said after it was also the
There's like a reverse of it, like a reverse inclination, I
yeah.
guess.
I thought that was actually really, really, really good actually. Because I think comparing yourself to other people is actually great in a lot of ways, but at the same time, there's also a lot of negatives that come with it. Like you can compare yourself to other people and that's all fine, like see where you're at and everything. But comparing yourself to other people, I found just doesn't really work right. Like it just doesn't quite work right because of the fact that everybody's different. Everybody experiences different things.
Mm,
Even just in um like when you have your growth spurts and everything. Like you might have um a growth spurt at a year before everybody else, and then you go into that sport that year and you're dominating everything because you're at like your top peak physical ability where everybody else is kind of lagging behind a little bit. And then you're thinking about how it's so great that you're so good at everything and whatever. But then those very same people might catch up to you and surpass you because you might have gotten complacent just on thinking about how you're better than other people because
Mm.
you're comparing yourself to them. Um, but you also might compare yourself to other people and be pushed to do better. At least that's what I've experienced. Is a lot of times I compare myself to people and I get pushed to do better. But I've also compared myself to people and felt like I'm just not good enough and that I can't like get to the next level, get to the same like equal spot as them. So I'd say like comparing yourself has there's so many things about it that can be good and bad, I'd say.
I think it depends on the way you compare, because if you're just
Yeah.
doing just a straight up comparison, right? You can either make yourself look really good or better than the next person, or you can make yourself look really bad. It can go either way. However, if you compare yourself in a manner of as to like, oh yeah, I need to improve on this area, and I'm looking at this person so that I can improve upon that area because they're good in that area that I'm weak in. And that if you're doing that
Hmm.
kind of comparison and kind of critiquing yourself or the other person in a healthy manner, then that makes sense. I can see that.
Hmm.
The unhealthy comparisons, there's no need in that. You don't gain anything from it. If anything, you lose a lot, and especially from your mental, you lose a lot when you compare yourself to when you compare yourself to somebody just like that. It doesn't make any sense. And then another thing you said was when like with the growth spurts and all that is I feel like God gives you certain tests. So for that example, for when I'm saying that, I mean, say for example, that one kid that got a growth spurt real tall and is dominating sports and all of that, right? His test is to see how he handles that height and having that early advantage, right? And then those kids that haven't caught up yet, though their test is to see how they can handle adversity and how they can handle someone being so much better than them and so much more skilled or athletic or
Hmm.
just a completely different size. And then the test will switch and when all those kids catch up or surpass that one kid that was already tall. Now that kid that was already tall and is now at the same level or below them, the other kids that already grew. Now his test is that adversity. Oh, how can
Yeah.
I get better? Or should I have done this? When can I do that? And the kids that have gone taller now, their test is, am I going to be cocky or am I going to just be humble and then do whatever I can do? Am I going to be able to? Am I going to work? Am I just not going to work? Am I going to stay
Yeah.
complacent?
Can I keep it up? Can I keep it up?
Exactly.
This kind of
Exactly.
thing.
But that's my point pretty much. Like just kind of those tests. Like God, I think God gives you certain tests and he tests you to see what you're gonna do in certain scenarios and how you handle those certain scenarios and
Hmm.
situations.
I completely agree. I think it perfectly ties in to the simple fact that
Mm.
everyone is different in so many different ways. Like even in ways you wouldn't necessarily think. Uh, Not quite the same thing, but for me, I when I play sports, I really like defending. I think I get the whole aspect of it for the most part. And offense, I kind of struggle with it. I can't quite make the plays the same way. Um, but I know lots of people really like offense because they really like scoring goals and everything like that. But for me personally, I don't really care much about scoring goals. If the team won and I helped them win, then I did my part. I don't feel the need to be all flashy with the goals and everything.
Mm.
But some people have their confidence made or broken by the number of goals they can score in a game or the number of shots they can make in the basket, whatever. Um, and for me, it's a little different where if I let too many things happen and I think I could do better, I mess something up, I can get really frustrated, but it's not the same way. It's not as uh, obvious.
I guess it just depends because, like you said, every person's different. Some people get their confidence can be, um, I guess, brought up or brought down by scoring a goal or not scoring a goal. Whereas for you, it's different because your mindset is a little bit different because you're thinking about the defensive end, whereas your confidence could be up here or down here, depending on whether you keep goals from going into the basket or the goal post really pretty much, or if they go in or if they're if you're able to defend them successfully. Like it just depends on the perspective and whatever you choose to do and whatever you like to do.
Yeah. I found that with defending, it is, I feel like a lot easier, at least for me, to blame myself for being the reason that we lost
Hmm.
because it's directly in like my area whether we got scored on. And the key to like the only way you're gonna lose is if you get scored on. So if you never get scored on, you're never gonna lose necessarily. You might
Exactly.
never win, but you're never gonna lose if you don't get scored on.
Hmm.
So for me, like whether the team wins or loses is everything, and I don't often. I do definitely still blame some other people, but a lot of times I get hit directly with all that of it's my fault we lost or I didn't do good enough or whatever. And that's my personal test. Whereas for other people playing the same thing, just different positions, have a completely different thought process of, oh, I didn't score this game. I didn't do my part to help the team win. Or now I'm frustrated because I should have scored a goal or I didn't or whatever. Um, just in that like
Yeah.
personality aspect, everybody's different and they
Mhm.
go through different tests of their confidence and uh, work ethic and everything.
Yeah, it's just a matter of perspective, I feel like, because at least for basketball, for me, I'm way better at defense than I am on offense at the moment. So it's just one of those things. Like, so now I take those like defensive plays and stuff like that personally, whereas on offense, it's a little bit like iffy. Like I want to be good at offense, but it's just a little struggle. It's a struggle for me. So I'm not
Yeah.
as inclined to be nearly as worried as if it was like some of my other teammates who are terrific on offense but can't play defense for their lives. So it's a
Mm,
little bit different because sometimes since those guys they'll get down on themselves a little bit when they can't score the ball as much as as much as they are, I guess, used to doing, or as much as they normally do. Some guys can go both ways, and it's like if they have a bad game, it's typically on the offensive and defensive side. Or if they have a good game, it's on both sides of the ball as well. It kind of just depends. It's just that matter of perspective. It's really best when you can when you're able to when you're able to have that on both sides of the ball on offense and defense. But most of the time, and in the majority of athletes, when you have a game that is played with teammates and is relied on offense and defense, typically is one side or the other. It's never really both for the most part, unless you get into like college and then the pros and all of that kind of stuff. All right, well, Zechariah, we're running out of time, but I appreciate you for being on here.
yeah. It was nice to be on, have a chat with you.
For sure,
I
for sure.
enjoyed your points, and I agree with you on pretty much all of these things, like with God and tests and all of that,
Mhm.
and being yourself. They're all very important things to consider. Um, and in general in life, like you got to consider how all of those things can affect you in the future. Like me personally, I view everything as like looking far into the future. Uh, like I don't know. My goal is to be able to be active and stay fit for as long as I can, um, and all that. So all those things are very important in that whole mess, I guess.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's just a matter. Like I said this multiple times. It's a matter of perspective. What do you want to do? You want to be yourself, or you want to go and be with other people? When you are yourself, then everything's a lot easier, and you can make your goals. You can make and predetermine your goals and what you want to do, especially in the future when you're thinking about the grand aspect of all that you want to do, and kind of how you want your layout to be, and how you want your schedules to be, and what you want to do to build up to certain goals.
Mhm. I just got hit with something crazy. Um, everyone is born themselves. You choose to live yourself, to live as yourself, and then you'll die as yourself. You'll be remembered as you. If you are born yourself, choose not to be yourself, choose to follow, try to be everybody else, be someone who you're not, then that's how it's going to go. You're going to die as not you, not your memory, not like never really putting you out there and having people remember you as who you really were. It's going to be not who you really were. It's going to be what people wanted you to be. And in the end, does it really matter what other people want you to be?
Well, Zechariah, I appreciate you for being on here. As I said before, we are running out of time, so I will leave any kind of socials that he may or may not have in the comments below. I'll also leave the podcast link in the TikTok below as well. Don't forget to view those. Don't forget to view the the rest of the videos on the YouTube channel, the TikTok, and the Instagram Reels as well, and Instagram page in general. All the stuff will be up there before they come out here on YouTube. So, thank you guys for watching, Zechariah. I appreciate you for being on here.
All right. Peace out. See you guys.